that sickle cell disease, a blood disorder where red blood cells become rigid and sickle-shaped, affects 8 million people worldwide. Audience, there was no such thing as a cure for this disease, only treatments to patients to deal with their condition. But as medicine advances, we are getting nearer and nearer to achieving a permanent cure for this disorder. One of the more prominent technologies that is being used to combat sickle cell is CRISPR. Hello, my name is Denzel Firdaus, and I would like to present our research paper about CRISPR. So, CRISPR was first discovered in bacteria as a natural defense system against viruses. Today, scientists have adapted it into a powerful tool that allows us to edit genes with high precision. It has become a key technology in biomedical research because it's fast, affordable, and accurate. More importantly, CRISPR is now being used to correct harmful DNA mutations in humans, opening up new possibilities for treating genetic diseases. So, why does CRISPR matter? Number one, newfound cure. CRISPR can directly fix the faulty genes causing diseases. For example, patients with sickle cell disease have already received CRISPR treatments that led to lasting relief or even full cures. This goes beyond managing the symptoms. It's about rewriting the source of the problem. Number two, effectiveness. Compared to earlier tools like TALEN or zinc finger nucleases, CRISPR is more efficient. It's faster designed, less expensive, and much easier to use in labs around the world. Number three, it's verified. In fact, in 2023, the FDA approved the first CRISPR-based therapy for sickle cell disease in the US and UK, marking a historic moment for gene editing entering real-world medicine. CRISPR is like a genetic scissors guided by a GPS. CRISPR is a genetic tool that targets specific DNA sequences. First, it uses a guide RNA to match a gene, then uses an enzyme known as Cas9 to cut down the DNA. This gives scientists a small window of time to edit the gene. Eventually, the cells repair themselves after the edit. CRISPR is like a pair of genetic scissors guided by GPS. The guide RNA is the GPS and the enzyme is the scissors. Success stories. CRISPR has already moved beyond the lab and into real treatments. One of the biggest breakthroughs came in 2023 when the FDA approved the first CRISPR-based therapy for sickle cell anemia. These patients had their bone marrow cells edited and many of them experienced long-lasting relief. Some were effectively cured. It also helped reverse symptoms in transthyretin amyloidosis, a rare and fatal disease caused by misfolded proteins. That's a big deal because traditional medicine couldn't ever do that. In cancer treatments, researchers are using CRISPR to edit T cells, which are part of our immune system, so they can better detect and kill cancer cells. This is showing promise in both blood cancers and solid tumors. Even in HIV research, CRISPR is being tested to remove the virus's DNA from infected cells. While it's still early, it shows the potential for a real cure someday. Risks and concerns. While CRISPR is powerful, it's not risk-free. One of the biggest concerns is germline editing. This means making changes to embryos or reproductive cells. Those edits would be passed down to future generations, and if something goes wrong, it could affect a person's entire life without their consent. There's also the risk of unintended mutations. Even though CRISPR is precise, it can sometimes cut in the wrong place, and that could accidentally activate cancer-causing genes or disrupt important ones. Another concern is the idea of designer babies. Right now, CRISPR is meant to cure disease, but what if people start using it to choose traits like height, intelligence, or appearance? That brings up serious questions about fairness, diversity, and even discrimination. And finally, we have to ask who gets to decide what's okay to edit. Not everyone agrees on what counts as a disease or what traits are acceptable. That's why ethics must be part of the conversation. CRISPR's power means it must be used responsibly, but the problem is not all countries agree on what's acceptable. Some have strict bans on germline editing, while others have few or no regulations at all. This creates a major ethical issue. What if future generations can't give consent, but germline edits affect them permanently? It raises the question, is it fair to make changes for someone who has no say? Another concern is inequality. What if only rich people can afford CRISPR treatments or enhancements? Though that can increase the gap between those without access to advanced healthcare and those without. That's why we need strong global rules. In 2018, a scientist edited the genes of human embryos without proper approval, and it caused global outrage. Clear laws and ethical review boards are necessary to stop things like that from happening ever again. Even though CRISPR is a huge breakthrough, we have to make sure it benefits everyone, not just the wealthy or those in powerful countries. Right now, a lot of gene therapy targets rare diseases or conditions that affect high-income populations, but many common or neglected diseases, especially in the global south, are still ignored. We should shift research toward these areas. We also need to make sure CRISPR is affordable and available worldwide. Without that, the technology could make healthcare gaps even worse. Decision-making shouldn't just be left to scientists and governments. Local communities and marginalized groups need to be included, especially when gene editing could affect future generations. Finally, public education is essential. CRISPR can sound scary or confusing, so clear information and open discussion are key to building trust and avoiding misinformation. Last slide. To sum it up, CRISPR is one of the biggest breakthroughs in genetics. It's already curing diseases that were once untreatable. But like any powerful tool, it comes with risks, and we have to move forward carefully and ethically, especially with things like human embryos, future generations, and access. The key is global teamwork. No single country or lab can control this. We need international rules, public involvement, and we need a focus on fairness so this technology helps everyone and not just the privileged. The key, in the end, CRISPR gives us a choice. Do we use it just because we can, or do we use it wisely for the good of all? Thank you.
Okay, first thing first, thank you for the presentation. How should I call you, Denzel?
Yeah, Denzel's fine.
Okay, good presentation, Denzel, because you identify the problem and then you see there is a solution for the problem. But I'd like to know, why are you choosing for this specific topic? May I know?
So, a lot of family have like disease, right? A lot of my family has experienced like the sadness that comes from disease, including me. So I've always been interested in studying in researching about diseases as a whole, and the most common non-curable ones are the genetic diseases that are prevalent in today's society, like HIV, sickle cell, cancer. It's very prevalent in my family, and I see also in other families. So I took a nature in wanting to find a solution towards it.
Okay, I see. So may you elaborate more? I mean, is this CRISPR solution has been implemented widely, or is it still in an ethical debate discussion?
So currently, yes, it's in ethical debate discussions, but it's recognized worldwide, and in the future, soon, it's going to be implemented in various diseases, to treat various diseases like sickle cell. But there are certain countries in the world today that have already implemented it, and the WHO does see it as a type of medical treatment that could be used in the future for good after the many ethical debates. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you are saying that some countries already implemented it, but some still debate on using it or not. Is it like that? Okay. Then what about your stance itself? I mean, are you pro or contra against using this CRISPR actually?
So I'm definitely pro, because I think that a lot of these diseases they're kind of uncurable, and the only solution for those diseases currently is for them just to live with it and do treatment, right? And it's a very long and very tedious process. So I would want obviously we all want a more advanced solution towards this this predicament, right? So that's why I believe in CRISPR, because it's accessible. It's accessible to almost a lot of people. It's more cheaper. It's a more cheaper genetic treatment than the ones we currently have prior, and it's an extremely, with the right hands and of course the right discussions, it's a very helpful tool that can be used.
Okay, so how about, because there is still discussion, right? I mean, I think it's about editing baby design, I mean, that kind of stuff, right, as you said. Then how you can convince the people in the contra side that you should allow this CRISPR?
So for those people who don't believe in it, I would say that I think it's inevitable that some problems will come up from CRISPR, because it's such a powerful technology that it's inevitable for bad people or bad things to come from it. All we can do is really mitigate it, and what I'm striving for is more conversations on CRISPR to limit the amount of disadvantages, like designer babies, right? We can have a discussion with the wider population regarding whether those should exist or not, right? We should be able to weigh the pros and cons as a society. That's why I don't necessarily oppose the conscious side, because in a way they're also right? They have a right to be concerned regarding this very powerful technology.
Okay, then I guess that's for 5 minutes. Oh, wait, maybe just one more, okay? So actually, I mean, it seems so white, black and white if I see your, what you say, because it's pretty clear, right? If it is an incurable disease, then please do CRISPR. And if it is a baby design, then please do not use this, right? So I still actually don't see what is the conflict here. I mean, because if you make it like that, black and white, seems like there is no need to debate, right? Could you elaborate more for that actually? I think there is a stronger point actually. Yeah.
So one of the more major ethical concerns in CRISPR is germline editing. It's where your genes are edited, yes, but the offspring you would have don't have any consent in doing it. So even if you're treating an uncurable disease, do your future sons or daughters, do they really want you to get this treatment? Do they want their genes to be edited, right? That's, I think, the biggest concern from CRISPR, is that the lack of consent from potential kids, right? Because editing DNA is just not one and go. It doesn't just stop at your generation.
Yes.
It goes on and goes on and goes on. And that's, I think, the biggest problem. It's a very kind of gray area, right? It's in between wanting to cure the uncurable disease and, just making it like there's a consent problem, obviously.
Okay, I think you actually could make your presentation better if you could, how to say, because sometimes it's more like information paper, information, because I tell you this is CRISPR and this is the plus, this is the negative. Actually, if you are writing paper, it's better if you can make like more argumentative essay, so it will trigger the questions for everybody. Do you agree or do you not agree? I think that is the one way if you want to improve the essay that you wrote. I think that is from me. Thank you for presentation, Denzel. So it's really good actually. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.